Assalamualaikum. My name is Azrina binti Abu Bakar. I am from the Academy of Language Studies, University Technology Mara UiTM Melaka. I would like to present to you a study that I conducted entitled An Analysis of Fake Language in Malaysian ESL Students Argumentative Essays. Study actually was inspired by my experience teaching part 3 students from a public university in Malaysia. So I taught them, writing an argumentative essay. Sometimes I noticed that most of my students use vague language in their argumentative essays. All right, so this is the example of a sentence written by my student. Yeah, artificial intelligence can help students search for things easily. So look at the word things here. So things here means what? Yeah, not really clear. This is a non-specific word. Yeah, so Tenjai 2025 stated that non-native English speakers usually use vague nouns. Yeah, for example, people, yeah, children, or even students, and also vague verbs like get, do, and have. I think we commonly, yeah, find these words in our students' AAC. Yeah. And this can hinder effective communication, limit the clarity of students' argument, and negatively impact the overall quality of academic writing. So, in an argumentative essay, students have to start writing the essay by writing the introduction paragraph, followed by the body paragraphs, counter argument, right? And they have to write clear arguments, claims, evidence, supporting details, and many more, right? They also have to conclude the argumentative essay. So, it is very significant for them to write clear ideas, clear argument, right? But when it comes to vague language, maybe it can hinder effective communication here, right? The message probably might not be clear enough, right? So according to Cotting 2012, vague language consists of expressions that are unclear, broad, or not specific. These expressions contain limited information, so the meanings depend strongly on the situation or knowledge shared by the writer and reader. Next, I'd like to present to you the problem statement of my study. While the use of vague language in diverse communicative contexts are well documented. For example, Joy, he did a research about the use of vague language in Thai's EFL, argumentative essays, and Kating 2012, he did a research about the use of vague language in abstracts. There remains a notable gap in research exploring the use of vague language in argumentative essays written by Malaysian ESL students at a public university. So as we know, there are lots of research that have been done regarding the use of vague language in politics, in abstracts, or even in spoken text, right? But then lack of research has been done on the use of vague language among ESL students in Malaysia. In this study, there are two research objectives and two research questions. So firstly, the objective of this research is I would like to examine the extent of vague language usage in argumentative essays written by Malaysian ESL students. And the research questions is, to what extent is vague language employed in argumentative essays written by Malaysian ESL students? Okay, next, the second objective of the research is I would like to identify the typical forms of vague language employed in my students' argumentative essays. And the research question here is, what are the typical form of vague language employed in my students' argumentative essays? Okay, next, research methodology. So in this study, yeah, I used English for Communicative Competence 3 final test paper. So in this paper, the students were required to write an argumentative essay, and as you can see here, this is the situation that was given to the students, right? So I collected 35 argumentative essays, yeah, and the students were the third semester students, and in order to collect the data, I used purposive sampling. Okay, for the data collection, yeah, I collected the data, yeah, during 2025 to 2026 academic year, and it was conducted during the final test, meaning that after the final test, yeah, I collected the students' argumentative essays, yeah, 35 argumentative essays, and I started analyzing the students' essays, identified the typical forms of vague language used or written by my students. All right, so for the data analysis, I referred to this framework, yeah, Termjai 2025, which was based on Cutting's 2012 classification of vague language. Okay, so when I analyze the essays, yeah, I manually tag the text. Yeah, I manually analyze the text. Yeah, and then I group each instance of vague language according to its category. For example, vague nouns, right, and then vague quantifiers and many more. Okay, now I would like to present and discuss the research findings. So, to answer, yeah, the first research question, which is, to what extent is vague language employed in argumentative essays written by Malaysian ESL students? So, look at the first table. Yeah, it shows the overall frequency of vague language in Malaysian ESL students' argumentative essays. So there were 35 essays, and the essays contained 12,077 words. And when I analyzed, yeah, the essays, I identified 328 vague language instances, yeah, in students' argumentative essays. I think this is quite high, right? Okay, so this study is, this finding, yeah, is consistent with Termjai 2025 research. Yeah, he discovered that Thai EFL undergraduates employed, yeah, various vague expressions such as general nouns, yeah, general verbs, indefinite pronouns, and also vague quantifiers, yeah, in the argumentative essays. So I think, yeah, based on my research, yeah, I think students, yeah, use vague language maybe because they wanted to express generalization, or maybe they want to avoid unnecessary details, yeah, in the essays. All right, not only that, probably the students also face challenges in writing argumentative essays. As we know, it's not really easy for certain people, yeah, to write argumentative essays. They have to provide strong arguments, right, solid evidence to support their claims. their opinions, all that. And maybe some of them have limited vocabularies, yeah, and they face difficulties, yeah, to provide precise arguments in the argumentative essays. For the next research questions, which is what are the typical forms of vague language employed in students' essays? Okay, based on table 2, yeah, table 2 presents the frequency and percentage of vague language forms in argumentative essays. So as we can see here, there are 5 types of language forms that students use in the argumentative essays, which are indefinite pronouns, vague quantifiers, general verbs, general nouns, and also general extenders. But then general extenders were the least frequently used, yeah, in this study. It shows only 0.30%. Yeah. However, indefinite pronouns were the most frequently used in this study. It shows 25.61%. Yeah. Followed by vague quantifiers, 25%. General verbs 24.7% and general nouns 24.39%. Yeah, so overall, yeah, the frequencies of indefinite pronouns, yeah, vague quantifiers, general verbs, and general nouns were notably similar. Yeah, although indefinite pronouns rank first, yeah, in this study. In addition, I would like to present the examples of vague expressions by vague language forms that were written, yeah, by my students. Yeah. Okay, so based on this table, yeah, there are 5 types of vague expressions that the students use. Okay, firstly, indefinite pronouns. For example, I found something, someone, you, everyone, everywhere, yeah, anything, everything. And secondly, I also identified, yeah, vague quantifiers. For instance, many, some, a lot of, a number of, and also several. Thirdly, general verbs. Yeah, for example, interact with, get, do, make. Okay, I still remember a student wrote a sentence like this. Yeah, students can use AI to get information. So the word get, yeah, in the sentence is a vague, yeah, a vague language. Why? Because vague is too broad, right? The students can use obtain, for example, yeah, to replace a vague word like get, yeah, a general verb here, yeah, get information. So instead of using get, the students can use obtained, for example, right? To obtain information, which is more specific. Yeah. Okay. Next, the third example of vague expression here is general nouns. For example, problems, things, people. Yeah. Issue, information, and the last one, I found only one. Yeah. General standard, which is etc. In conclusion, Malaysian ESL students use vague language in their argumentative essays such as indefinite pronouns, vague quantifiers, general verbs, general nouns, and also general extended. So, based on the findings, it is hoped that English educators, yeah, can teach the students, guide the students, yeah, teach them about vague language and guide them, yeah, to replace unclear pronouns with specific reference, support quantifiers with solid evidence, and choose precise verbs and nouns, for example, yeah, to be written in the essays, yeah, to enhance, yeah, the clarity of our students' ideas, yeah, when they write the academic writing, yeah, for example, argumentative essays. That's all from me. Thank you so much for listening.